his fourth meditation, Saint Jean-Baptiste de la Salle looks at what must be done to be true cooperators with Jesus Christ for the salvation of children. His first point, he says, be convinced of what St. Paul says, that you plant and water the seed, but it is God through Jesus Christ who makes it grow and brings your work to fulfillment. So when it happens that you encounter some difficulty in the guidance of your disciples, when there are some who do not profit from your instructions, and you observe a certain spirit of immorality with them, turn to God with confidence. Very insistently ask Jesus Christ to make his Spirit come alive in you, for he has chosen you to do his work. So, we are cooperators with Jesus. He is the one who desires the most for the salvation of our students, of our children. And so we are the ones who assist him to help plant and water the seed, but it is God himself who makes it grow within them. And there's going to be times, I know all of us have experienced so far, where there is great difficulty, he says, in the guidance of these disciples. There are often times where they don't want to be led. They don't want to be formed in the way of Jesus. And it can be very difficult when they don't seem to profit, he says, from our instruction, or we observe some kind of sins that they're committing. He says, turn to God with confidence, because he is the one who desires their salvation more than ourselves. And ask Jesus Christ, he says, to make his Spirit come alive within you, so that God will be the one coming alive within you as the teacher, so as to help bring the children back on the right path. He says, consider Jesus Christ as the good shepherd of the gospel, who seeks the lost sheep, puts it on his shoulders, and carries it back to restore it to the fold. Because you are taking his place, consider that you are obliged to do the same. Ask him for the grace needed to procure the conversion of hearts. That's a good image to ponder as a teacher and looking out upon your students that you have in your class. You are the shepherd of them, and they are your flock of sheep. And maybe in the midst of that flock, you know of certain sheep that go astray really easily, that get really distracted and don't focus on their studies. To think of Jesus as the good shepherd. Are we like that? Do we go in search of that lost sheep and put great effort in bringing them back to be with the rest of the fold? When they seem to be behind in their schoolwork, when they seem not to be getting things, do we strive to bring them back, even if they struggle and fight against us? Ask him, he says, for the grace needed to procure the conversion of hearts. Yeah, because oftentimes you may notice that there is a conversion of heart that's needed. And so we have to ask Jesus for the grace needed for that conversion, because we ourselves can't do that. That's why he says, you must then be very devoted to prayer to succeed in your ministry. You must constantly represent the needs of your disciples to Jesus Christ, explaining to him the difficulties you have experienced in guiding them, and Jesus Christ seeing that you regard him as the one who can do everything in your work, whereas you are an instrument that must be moved only by him, will not fail to grant you what you ask of him. I really think, for myself, really pondering, how well do I turn to God with the needs that my students have, knowing some of the things that are going on within their hearts, and then how often do I turn to him with those difficulties that I face in such a way as to ask God to fill me up where I lack, that he's the one who can do everything. So there may be plenty of days in which I feel like I can't do anything, with this situation, with this student, but this is a lost sheep that the Good Shepherd wants to bring back, that he's asking me as a teacher to be his shepherd. And if we ask him as the Good Shepherd to help us, he says he will not fail to grant to you what you ask of him. God bless.